Isaac Tiemann says, strong female characters or strong characters who are female. And right below that, George A. Freeland wrote, strong female characters versus masculine female characters. I've talked about this before. I don't want to spend too much time on it again, but I will say this. This is a tricky thing here. Strong female characters or strong characters who are female. I'm in favor of both strong female characters and strong characters who are female, because I see strength as an emotional state, and there are many, 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 many strong women and many excellent strong female characters. The thing I have a problem with, and I've had a problem with this for a while, and I think there are going to be a lot of problems with this downstream, is I don't believe it when I see it. I don't think it's good for girls, boys, or anyone else. When I see, as I've said before, when I see Scarlett Johansson, who does not have magical powers, look, if she's Wonder Woman, or if she's, if she's an elf or a Vulcan or something, if she has superpowers, and she has superpowers, who's going to argue with superpowers? You can't argue with superpowers. But when I see again and again and again in all these detective stories and all these TV mysteries and movies and stuff, I see a 98-pound, 5'5" woman, fashion model, walk up to a grown man and punch him in the face and knock him down. Or if I see a protagonist on a show like, The Closer or something, some 98-pound woman running in heels down the streets of New York and tackling a 250-pound man and bringing him down to the ground through, application of a certain kind of a hold or something, we're going to pay for this. And as a small aside, you'll often see the female warrior in modern movies. What they'll do is, because some people realize, okay, look, this is a small girl, and like in the case of Brave or something, right, that animated feature. So we can't really have her punching out guys who weigh 4 times what she does and are much faster and much, much stronger, 2, 3, 4 times stronger than her. So what we'll do is we'll make her an archer, you see? That way she just got a bow. She's an archer. Well, it takes some strength to draw a bow, for those of you who've never drawn a bow before. So, look, if you ask me, am I in favor of a story where a librarian has a single mom librarian has a child, and a gang of rapists smash her window in her apartment in New York and come in from the fire escape, and she pulls a gun and blows them away? Is that a strong woman character? Yes. Am I in favor of that character? You betcha. You betcha. I absolutely am. But when we get into this second thing that George mentioned, masculine female characters, when you see women just out punching men, it's not only absurd, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for women. It's dangerous for them. Jeremy Boring told this story once. He was in a judo match or something, and it was co-ed judo, right? So you're wearing light padding, right? And you're out there, and he's fighting this girl, basically. And she gets in a couple shots and, hits him on the face a couple times and knocks him down or something. And she's running around the room, bragging about it. And Jeremy was just a kid. He said he was ashamed of himself afterwards. But they said, get back in there. And, and this woman just keeps coming up and hitting him. And he said, even though she wore this padding, he said, and after she kept hitting me, I just got so pissed off. She hit me in the nose or something and kind of, rang my bell a little bit or hit me in the nose enough to water my eyes. And he said, I hit her as hard as I could, and she just went down and didn't get up. And when she got up 3 minutes later, she was crying hysterically, sobbing, because when a male uncorks on a female, if something happens to break through that natural biological, well, it's not biological restraint, break through that restraint that good fathers put into boys, which is you never, ever, 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 ever hit a girl. When a grown man, when one of these 250-pound thugs in a movie is in a fist fight with Scarlett Johansson, who's like 5'3" or 5'4", And if that were happening for real, it doesn't matter what kind of leg sweeps Scarlett Johansson can do. It doesn't matter how good she is with punching. If that 250-pound man turns around and hits Scarlett Johansson as hard as he can, he could very easily kill her. But I will tell you one thing. If he hits her once, that fight's over. And so what's happening here? What's happening here is our moral betters in the social engineering department are trying to set up role models for girls, and they're trying to make girls into butt kickers. I don't know for a fact that girls like the idea of being butt kickers. I think on some level it kind of frightens them to think that they have to be butt kickers. But what do I know? Maybe I'm dead wrong about this. I'm happy to admit I'm wrong about that. But I'll tell you one thing. When teenage boys go to movies, this has been happening for 25 years now, when teenage boys go to movies and see teenage girls or see young women, small women, beating up grown men in life or death fights, killing them, breaking their neck, bringing them down, pummeling them. What they are doing, what our betters in Hollywood are doing, is they are telling both men and women that men and women can get into physical fights on level playing field, basically equal, and that is not going to end well, and it's not the men who it's not going to end well for. You keep doing this, and you destroy that sense that was bred into me from the first days that I can remember from being in elementary school on. You start to mess around with this idea that has to be put into males, that you never hit a woman no matter what. She punches you in the nose, doesn't matter. She doesn't matter what she does. If you start to eliminate that inhibition, then women are going to be very, very, very sorry that they went down this road. And it's not just because they're going to get into fights with men and men are going to hurt them. It's also because when they get into trouble, when they're walking down the street and all of a sudden a man comes along or two big men come along and all this other stuff, and they start thinking that they can pull these big kung fu moves out, not only are they going to get the living crap beat out of them, but the men, the boys who've watched Scarlett Johansson whipping these guys for 20 years, and it's not just her, you just watch every movie that's out there and watch every TV show that's out there. Some woman's going to go walking down to her car and she's going to be confronted by some guy, and the guy's not going to walk her to her car. Why would he walk her to her car? She can probably beat him up according to what we've seen on TV. So she's going to walk out to that car and somebody's going to come out of the shadows and she's going to call for help, and it's not going to come. It's not going to come. And then, as usual with these feminists, you're gonna reap what you sow. Their big statement, big statement, because it's so hilarious and it's so clever. It's so ha 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 ha. All the men in the commercials are idiots. They're either children or they're idiots. They're either, dad is either a complete moron. Honey, how do I use the electricity? How do I turn on the lights? Or I can't wait to play another round of my computer games. When dad is that and mom is the sensible one and the smart one and the sensible, smart, grounded one, you're just sending that message again and again and again. Like I said, feminists were just so proud of this, A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. How empowering. How empowering. How's it working out for you out there? You radical feminists, you don't strike me as happy people. And I don't think it's funny, I was about to say that I don't think you deserve to be protected by men, but whether you deserve it or not, men are going to protect you. Real men will protect you. They don't care. You can talk this idiocy all you want to, but take a look at what the requirements are for male firefighters versus females. Look at what the requirement in combat are. I saw an article about this today. Something a simple little thing. 3 pull-ups required for military service or military training or to get into basic, I don't know what it is. 3 pull-ups. 3. 98% of the men can do 3 pull-ups. 45% of the women can do 3 pull-ups. I bet if you take it to 10 pull-ups, I bet there's 5% of the women that can do it and 80% of the men. And so, What do you say? Am I saying that women can't serve in the military? No, I'm not saying that at all. Am I saying women can't be policemen and firemen? Not saying that at all either. But apparently one of the things I have heard is the reason one used to send an ambulance out for somebody, goes down, somebody faints, or somebody hits a wall, or somebody's crazy, you'd send the ambulance out. Remember those days? And the paramedics would go. But the paramedics don't go anymore. Not just the paramedics now. Now the firemen have to go. And you don't just see an ambulance. Now you see an ambulance and a fire truck, or two. And my understanding from people on the inside of this is the reason that the fire truck has to go in back of the ambulance is because somebody may need to be carried out of a building or carried into something, and the female EMTs are not they can't do it. They're just physically incapable of doing it. And if we're not ready to recognize these things, we're in trouble. I don't begrudge women any occupation that they can qualify for. None. I am not one of these guys. I'm not one of these barefoot pregnant guys. I'm not one of these, oh, you should be lovely librarians, or, oh, that's really nice, sweetheart, make me a sandwich. I joke about it, but I'm not. I've worked for women most of my life. They're as competent and incompetent as the men I've worked for. I know a couple of them personally. I know female fighter, I don't know any female fighter pilots. I know many female helicopter pilots, and they are doing a magnificent job of flying in harm's way, and they are likely to get shot just as dead as men are. Then I'm 100% behind all of this stuff. But if we're going to force combat soldiers who are carrying 100 pounds of gear or 130 pounds of gear in combat, and we are putting in there with them women who cannot carry them out of combat, not for lack of desire or lack of courage or lack of heart, they just can't, then we are going to lose some of our best people for political correctness. And I think that is absolutely disgusting. And I don't know if it's happened yet. I can't imagine it hasn't. But there already must be people who are dying or have died because first responders on the scene did not have the physical strength. It's not courage, it's not character, it's not intelligence, it's not skill. Didn't have the physical strength to get men out of building. Get them out of a building. So I'm sorry your daughter died, but we didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings because we just wanted big, strong men who could carry them out of there. This is a real problem. That's a great question.